The WNBA continues to brag about physical play. All the while, they have players in this league that is going to get people hurt. Last night, Skylar Diggins came very close to being really hurt. There's a difference between physical play and being downright dirty as hell. And let's be honest, there is precedent for DiJonai Carrington.
Is DiJonai Carrington the dirtiest player in WNBA history? That's not just some hot take headline anymore. It's the question echoing through social media, sports talk shows, and fan forums across the country. Her latest stunt wasn't just controversial. It may have crossed a line so bold that the WNBA can't afford to ignore it any longer.
My goodness, the backlash on DiJonai Carrington is gone nuclear.
Forget tough defense or gritty hustle. Carrington's recent actions resemble something you'd see in a UFC octagon, not on a professional basketball court. And with the league's most valuable player, Caitlin Clark, caught in the crossfire, fans are calling this more than dirty. They're calling it dangerous.
Done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. She has done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. This is a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league that every game, the referees are turning a blind eye to something that would potentially get them disqualified from an MMA fight. This would have got her disqualified if she was in the octagon.
Let's start with the moment that blew the lid off everything, the hair pull. In a game between the Los Angeles Sparks and the Dallas Wings, Carrington reached up, grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker by the ponytail, and yanked her straight to the floor. The arena gasped. The replay, even more brutal. It wasn't a hustle play. It wasn't a fluke. It was deliberate, forceful, and shockingly blatant. It wasn't basketball. It was assault with a basketball uniform on.
Check this out right here. And she grabs a player by the ponytail, yanks her to the ground. I mean, not only is the WNBA covering for players like this, they're doing these egregious things on the court that is not physical play. It's dirty play with a big fat D.
So how did the refs respond? A loose ball foul. That's it. Not a flagrant, not even a technical. Fans erupted. If those were extensions, one analyst said, they'd still be on the hardwood. Clips flooded Twitter and Reddit, all asking the same question: how is this not an ejection? But here's the wild part. This isn't a one-time thing. This isn't just an outburst from an emotional player in a heated game. No, this is a pattern, a disturbing one.
DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai.
In just the past 5 games, Carrington has committed at least 3 flagrant fouls, officially. 2 more went uncalled, but were just as vicious. There was the undercut on Skylar Diggins, the elbow to Sabrina Ionescu, and the infamous swipe to Caitlin Clark's eye. These weren't tough fouls. They were dangerous. They were reckless. And in some cases, clearly premeditated. One former player even said, "That wasn't a basketball play. That was a hit job." And fans are starting to agree, and that's where this gets scary.
But I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed to ref again. And I think this is just like the Kennedy Carter tip check last year. The referees, and this is the worst about this, they saw it and did nothing about it.
Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the player, the one drawing record-breaking ratings, the reason millions of new fans are tuning in. And in the middle of her rise, she gets swiped in the eye by Carrington. A move so fast and so precise, it had to be rewound frame by frame to fully see what happened. Clark winced and grabbed her face in pain. And for a moment, the entire arena seemed to freeze. Everyone watching knew this wasn't just a missed shot or a hard screen. This was personal, calculated, dangerous.
As everyone else has seen this angle. I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Carrington brushed it off, claimed she didn't mean it, that it was a defensive play gone wrong. But fans weren't buying it, not after watching the video, not after seeing the exact hand position, the follow-through, the expression on her face. They saw what they needed to see. This wasn't the first time Carrington pulled something like this, and it wasn't the first time the WNBA looked the other way. And yet, nothing. No suspension, no fine. No comment from the league, just silence.
Criticism justified. Get her off the court. Hey, this person, Kathy Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen. Carrington is reckless, and there's plenty of video that shows. There's plenty of evidence.
And the outrage is growing louder. Analysts, fans, former players, all asking the same thing. Why isn't the WNBA doing anything? Because this isn't just about Carrington anymore. It's about how the league handles player safety, how they protect or fail to protect their stars, especially the one player who's bringing in more revenue and visibility than anyone else in the league's history. Caitlin Clark is getting shoved, elbowed, and clawed like she wandered into a wrestling match. And while the league markets her face to sell tickets, they're turning a blind eye when that same face is getting targeted on live television.
It is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league.
And the fans, they're not stupid. They're seeing the hypocrisy. The no room for hate campaign rings hollow when the league won't even defend its biggest star from repeated deliberate attacks. People aren't just calling out Carrington anymore. They're calling out the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert. Engelbert's refusal to address Carrington's behavior is now being viewed as a leadership failure. Fans have receipts, they've counted the fouls, they've watched the replays. They know Carrington has more flagrants in a month than some players get in an entire season, and yet, nothing.
Literally, the referee saw her take someone out in the air, went to the monitors, was like, this is a dangerous play, it's a flagrant, and they overruled the refs on the monitors. The league has literally, the league are putting players in danger. The league does not care about player safety. They don't care about player safety. And by the way, why would DiJonai care about player safety? Why would she care if the league doesn't care? The legal defender, anything negative said about DiJonai Carrington in the media, anything negative, you're going to see a post from the WNBA saying, we call BS about this thing. Anything negative in the media about DiJonai Carrington, the WNBA are going to make a post. The WNBA are going to make a post.
This is bigger than Carrington now. It's about credibility. It's about whether rules mean anything, about whether the league enforces standards or just talks about them when it's convenient. And let's be honest, if these kinds of fouls happened in the NBA or MMA, there'd be automatic suspensions. If someone pulled LeBron James down by the hair, they'd be out for weeks. If someone swiped Steph Curry in the eye on purpose, they'd be hit with fines and public apologies. No one would need to ask twice.
Wake up.
By the way, if the referees just did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington would have a one-game suspension, right? If the referee in the league did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington, and not for just this. And by the way, if this was it, there are sports leagues in the world that, with this replay going out, would give her a one-game suspension. The NBA is one. If the referees missed it in real time, and something like this started going, not even semi-viral, but like went around the league, and they're like, you know what, it's actually putting a player in danger. It's a one-game suspension.
So why is Carrington still on the court? Some are now calling for a permanent ban. Others say a season-long suspension should be the minimum. But almost everyone agrees. If the league doesn't act, it will lose more than just fans. It will lose its integrity, it will lose its credibility, and worst of all, it may lose its future. Carrington's actions are no longer just isolated incidents. They're part of a narrative the WNBA refuses to acknowledge. And the longer they stay silent, the louder the critics get.
DiJonai Carrington, you are the dirtiest dirtbag of them all. Dirty play, DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai dirty play, Carrington. We can even turn it into a song.
This is about respect, about accountability, about protecting the very players who make the league what it is. If the WNBA claims to be about empowerment and leadership, then leadership means standing up, even when it's uncomfortable, because right now there's a growing divide between what the WNBA says and what the UNBA does. They say they stand for women, for excellence, and fairness. But what good is that if their biggest star can't walk onto the court without being targeted?
Look, I don't condone fighting on the court, but this team has a real issue. This league has a real issue getting their own teammates' backs. It feels like so many of these players are all out for themselves, and it is wild.
And right now, all eyes are on the WNBA. Will they protect their star or will they protect their silence? Because the next time Carrington strikes, it might not be a warning shot. It might be the moment the WNBA breaks beyond repair. And if that happens, no marketing campaign in the world will be able to fix it.
I mean, good God. I mean, there's at some point you just gotta believe that certain players' antics are somewhat just premeditated.
If you're as fired up about this as we are, now's the time to show it. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and stay locked in with Spotlight WNBA for the latest breaking stories, unfiltered analysis, and everything that if you don't want you to hear. And drop a comment below. Time to protect Caitlin Clark. Let's make some noise the league can't ignore.